Women's tennis lost a superstar. Raducanu changed from court to hospital. Emma Raducanu gets a lot of attention. She sensationally won the US Open 2 years ago, but hasn't been able to boast any accomplishments since, except for advertising contracts, of which she now has dozens. Now the British woman has already fallen out of the top 100 world rankings and will drop even lower, missing the next Roland Garros and Wimbledon. She was scheduled for 3 surgeries for an arm and ankle injury. 2 of them have already been performed, and the next one is in a week and a half. During a recent press conference at the Madrid tournament, Raducanu was asked 16 questions. She answered them in 58 words. One could even imagine a full conversation between the tennis player and the press, but snippets are enough. The interaction with the media lasted only 3 minutes, and the longest answer was a story about the loss to Bianca Andreescu in Miami. Yes, it was a good trip to America, a hard match, but yes, moving on. After that, the WTA representative took Raducanu away with the words, "I think that's enough." Emma was scheduled to play in the first round against Victoria Tomova of Bulgaria, but withdrew from the match. As a result, the British woman dropped out of the top 100 rankings. In early May, Emma announced that she would miss several months. The tennis player decided to undergo several operations, on both hands and ankle. Raducanu said that health problems have been bothering her all last year, so she missed trainings and competitions. So far, the girl has already undergone 2 out of 3 surgeries, on her right arm and leg. 2 surgeries out of 3 are done. Thank you all for your support, Raducanu said in a video on her social media page. It is reported that another surgical intervention will take place in about 2 weeks. Emma has been scolded by many for spending more time on promotional contracts than playing on the court. Since winning the US Open, the tennis player has become one of the highest-paid athletes in the world, signing contracts with Dior, Tiffany & Company, British Airways, Vodafone and Porsche. Raducanu loses more on the court than she wins, and she can't get into a competitive rhythm at all. She has a lot of health problems and injuries. In early 2022, she withdrew from a tournament in Mexico because of leg cramps. At the Australian Open, 2022, there were problems with blisters on her hands. In the spring, a back injury. The grass part of the season brought pain in her left side, then there was an injury to her left buttock and hip. Last year ended with a hand problem, and the new year began with a sprained ankle. Afterward, she tried to play with a left wrist injury, but it didn't work out well. After Miami, I need to rethink everything and think through the next steps. We found solutions for the short term, but they won't work in the long term, Emma said. Raducanu added that she understands that injuries are interfering with a normal career. You have to reduce your workload, but it affects your level of play. In Indian Wells, Emma played with a wrist injury and beat Magda Linette. Sometimes you wonder how that's even possible, but then I quickly realized that you're the master of your own destiny. And I've already won the US Open, I'm already lucky, so you have to accept bad luck, the British woman said after that match. Recently, the tennis player announced that she will not play at Roland Garros and Wimbledon and will drop even lower in the rankings. But the surgeries may help her shaky health. For the last 10 months, I was worried about the pain in both hands. I tried to play with it and perform, and at the end of the year, I cut down my workload and played fewer tournaments. But it didn't help. I needed surgery on both hands to solve the problem. I have to tell you that I will miss a few months and will have another surgery on my ankle. I hate to say it, but I will not play in the summer tournaments. Thanks to the fans for their support, Raducanu wrote on social networks.